Yo, what's up? It's Q Harrison Terry, and we are now on day 145 of my everyday's experiments. For those that don't know and are just joining us, every day I ask myself, what's the future? I put that in a journal known as my WTF journal. And if you're watching this video, you either found it on your own or you are in my WTF journal. And today I'm going to talk about something that I think is like very important. That something is known as communication. It's very, very important today, primarily because we live in an era where AI is largely eradicating a lot of the areas that humans would be able to relate to one another. I mean, if I'm reading content that was written by a machine, but it's carrying the point across effectively, I can't get mad at that. I understand it, efficiency and effectiveness over everything. I mean, there's tons of companies that are out here that don't have enough employees, that are trying to figure out any solution. And if AI gives them just that teeny bitty competitive edge, they're going to use it. So what does that mean for us? That means that we as humans are regulated probably down to just having personality, input, and perspectives, right? Your input should not be that of a machine. A machine doesn't have empathy. A machine doesn't have the real lived experiences that you might have known. A machine is simply just going off secondhand experience. It doesn't matter which AI you have today. There are no AIs that I know of that has the ability to experience things firsthand and really be able to speak and give input to that. And there's credence in doing that. Like the ability to be able to share your experience, to connect with another person is key. I mean, we see politicians get elected off of it. We see leaders in our businesses rise through the ranks because of it. We also see ultimately people win in society because their social circles in some cases depend on being able to relate and have friends that can be suitable companions to you. So communication is an area that is very, 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 very important. And I think I probably would want AI to help me become a better communicator. Not necessarily in vocal cadence, but it's not even in speaking really, right? Like I think you could get there, but the first thing that I think I'm horrible at and I just hate doing is PowerPoint. I hate PowerPoint. Nah, for real, like I hate PowerPoint. And if you hate PowerPoint too, like you probably get where I'm going with this. When it's time for me to sit down and do a PowerPoint presentation, those are days where I'm going to be in a chair until 2 a.m., 4 a.m. Heck, it might even be 6 a.m. Seriously, I'm not making this up. I despise PowerPoint. If you've seen me do a PowerPoint presentation, then you know it probably was decent. I hope you feel like I put, some decent oil and elbow grease into that. But at the end of the day, it took me a long time to make. And I probably dreaded the experience, and hopefully I got paid for it because there's no reason why I would want to do a PowerPoint presentation if I'm not getting paid for it because they are a drag. Now, the most tedious thing of PowerPoint is one, knowing the tool. I grew up in an era where you could get away without knowing PowerPoint. I was a Google Slides kid. And if you don't know the tool, not only are you learning on the fly, and PowerPoint's it's not the tool you want to learn on the fly. This is not Photoshop where you can just Google something and, be a master at it in like 2 minutes. This is something where like, if you only have done it one time, it's going to look like trash. And until you do it 60 to 100 times, it's whatever. I mean, if you've worked at a big company, you know that there's a person on your team or a person on the team next to your team that's adjacent that you've befriended because they are the deck designer. Even if it's the graphic designer that just knows how to spruce things up, trust me, I know. I actually worked at a company, and this is a little secret, but all of their documents for design were actually PowerPoint or Keynote files. And they did this because they wanted brand continuity amongst the communications within the company, but they also wanted their CEO and all their C-suite executives to feel empowered to make new ideas and share it without having to, call the deck designer at the wee hours of the night. And I thought it worked out pretty well. Like the deck designers got really intricate and they designed some things, and largely that was that. So I'm gonna get into this because this is going to be a fun experiment, not only for me but probably for you as well. I built a prompt. If you've been watching Everydays.wtf, then you know the vibes. If you want my prompts, go ahead and just go to everydays.wtf/145. And we will be able to make that happen. So this prompt should work. I don't see what's going on. Looks like ChatGPT is just having some bandwidth issues. I'm gonna check that. And all right, we got it. So we got our prompt working. You know, sometimes ChatGPT, if you leave it open too long, it's gonna do some random things. And in this case, it looks like Chat is getting to it. I'm going to read aloud because this is my first time actually running this prompt. I've never seen it. But as you might know or you might not know, I'm learning Japanese, and it's a pretty tough language. So if I were asked to give a presentation on why it's hard to learn Japanese as an English speaker, and I had 10 minutes to do so, then let's see what I could get with ChatGPT. So the outline for this is 10 minutes. Got 10 minutes. The first slide is an introduction. Introduce the topic of Japanese and its difficulty level for English speakers. Second point there is establish the purpose of the presentation, and that's to explore reasons why Japanese is hard for English speakers to learn. Estimated time is 1 minute. Okay, that's the first slide. Slide 2 is the script and writing system. Discuss the complexities of the Japanese script, which includes kanji, Chinese characters, hiragana and katakana, 2-syllabic scripts, and explain why this can be challenging for English speakers who are used to a 26-letter alphabet. That's slide 2. It should take you 2 minutes. Slide 3 is pronunciation. Describe the unique features of the Japanese sound system, including pitch, accent, and long vowels. Compare and contrast that with English pronunciation. Estimated time 2 minutes. Okay. Vocabulary is slide 4. Examine the differences in word choice between Japanese and English. Discuss how this can be difficult for English speakers to understand and communicate effectively. That would be another 2 minutes. And we're going to finish it out with the second to last slide is grammar. Discuss the complex grammar structure of Japanese. Explain how it can be challenging for English speakers to understand and use. Estimate that it will take 2 minutes to do that. And then finally, we're going to have a conclusion. What that slide is going to be is the summarization of all the main points in the presentation, and it's going to provide a takeaway for the audience. So that's going to be 1 minute. That's not bad. I'm actually okay with. It's actually a pretty technical presentation. I thought it would give me something a little bit easier, but I mean, for 10 minutes, if you have to explain why Japanese is hard to learn, I think that this could cut. For those that aren't believers, because I understand. I mean, I wouldn't have been a believer if I just saw that either. Let's go with skateboarding and why it's harder to learn how to skateboard in your 30s. We're going to go ahead and ask it to give us an outline for that in 10 minutes time. Again, it starts off with the introduction. So it seems like it's got some format. Like I didn't train it there, but it actually does deviate on slide 2. So there are some similarities between the first outline and the second outline, but these similarities aren't that well defined. So far, we are at a point where it was 6 slides on the first one. It's also 6 slides on the second one. So I don't know if this is regulated and it's just my prompting that got us to 6, but let's go ahead and just go through this one more time. I'll probably load up another one to work in the background, but let me get an understanding of why it's harder to learn skateboarding in your 30s. So 10-minute time presentation. Introduction is this. Introduce the topic of skateboarding and the difficulty level of learning it in your 30s. Establish the purpose of the presentation to explain. Okay, so it kind of, slide 1, it's an intro slide. We'll give it to it. I wouldn't technically start that presentation off like that, but I mean, hey, repetition is key. So, I mean, let's see. Physical limitations. Discuss how physical limitations can impede progress in skateboarding, such as decreased flexibility, balance, and reaction time. Explain how these limitations can be more pronounced in older adults. Okay, I got that. Slide 3, fear of injury. Describe how the fear of injury can be more prevalent in older adults and how this can impede progress in skateboarding. Compare and contrast that with younger learners who might be more willing to take risks. That's actually a big deal. Like that's A1 right there. Slide 4, lack of time. Examine how adult learners have less time to practice due to work and family obligations. Discuss how this can make it difficult to consistently practice and improve. Agree with that. 5, lack of support. It might be harder to find a supportive community for skateboarders at older age, and how it can be harder. Explain how it can be harder to find role models and mentorship and learning. Okay, I can see that. Slide 6, conclusion. Summarize the main points of the presentation. Provide a takeaway for the audience. Honestly, I'm not mad at it. All right, cool. It's handling these pretty well. So I'm actually, I. All right, let's see Tetris. Let's see if we can get AI to explain to us why Tetris is a video game that's good for your brain. We're gonna give it a 20-minute presentation in this case, largely because why not? Like, I'm getting these 6 slides, and if I were making a real presentation, less is more. But maybe I want a few more slides. Maybe I need to hold people's time for a minute. I mean, we did 6 on the first end, we did 6 on the second end. Are we going to surpass 6 on the third? And it looks like we might. It looks like we might. However, no, it's doing this 1, 3, 3. I think we will. We did. I got us to 7. 7 slides in 20 minutes. That's different. Let's see what it's talking about. I mean, AI is really just it's staying true to this like less than 10 slides for a presentation theory, and I think that came from one of the. I forgot who that came from. Was it Robert Kiyosaki or Guy Kiyosaki? One of those guys. I know they had like the 10 slide era. They're gonna kill me for not remembering, but it was a long time when I remembered reading that, so I don't know. Outline for Tetris and why it's a good video game for your brain. Slide 1, introduction. Introduce the topic of Tetris and its potential cognitive benefits. Establish a purpose of the presentation. Explore ways in which Tetris can improve brain function. 1 minute, got it. Slide 2, spatial reasoning. Discuss how Tetris can improve spatial reasoning skills by requiring players to rotate and place blocks in a confined space. Provide examples of how the skill can be useful in real-life situations. Okay, I mean, kind of. Let's see. We got 4 more slides. Working memory. Describe how Tetris can improve working memory by requiring players to hold and manipulate multiple pieces of information in their mind at once. Compare and contrast that with other games that do not have this cognitive benefit. Attention and perception. Examine how Tetris can improve attention and perception by requiring players to quickly and accurately identify the shape and color of falling blocks. Discuss how that can lead to improved reaction time and visual acuity. 5, slide stress relief. Discuss how Tetris can be used as a stress relief tool by providing distraction from everyday worries and promoting a sense of accomplishment. Explain how this can lead to improved mood and overall well-being. Slide 6, the Tetris effect. Describe the Tetris effect phenomenon where playing Tetris can lead to visual hallucinations and involuntary mental imagery of Tetris shapes. Explain how this can be an indication of the game's cognitive impact. In conclusion, summarize the main points of the presentation, provide a takeaway for the audience, and you're rolling from there. All right. So far, I mean, if I had to grade it, I'm not mad at these prompts, but I think what we could do is if it's only going to give you 5 or 6 slides, I think that is good in general for most presentations. Most presentations have way too many slides, but I also understand that, like, I'd rather be in a presentation where they had 100 slides, but like there was 2 words on each slide versus being in a presentation where there's like 20 slides and there's like a paragraph on every quadrant of the slide. Like that just is not it. Maybe the chat is hearing me because we're already past slide 6 on this. All right, we passed 7. All right, I think the chat might be listening to me. Oh, dang, it got me past 7, but it only took me to 8. So 8 slides for a 30-minute presentation. Woo! I think 30 minutes that I've traditionally done, I think my record is like 16. I think I'm at like 12 or 16 for a 30-minute slide. So it's cutting almost half of those slides. Let's see what it's got. It's sticking to this introduction. So what I've learned from ChatGPT, if I'm gonna create a presentation, every slide needs an intro, just like a mixtape. Every mixtape pretty much had an intro of some sort. If you remember the mixtape era, it seems like that's true for the slide era, with at least when ChatGPT is on it. In this intro, we're going to introduce the topic of growth marketing and importance for businesses. Establish the purpose of the presentation. Okay, I got that. Understanding growth marketing. Define growth marketing as key components. Explain how it differs from traditional marketing approaches. Slide 3, identify your niche. Discuss the importance of finding a specific area of focus within growth marketing. Provide different niche examples within the field, such as user acquisition, retention, and monetization. Wow. It named all 3. ChatGPT, I see you. I mean, you probably just read something on the internet, you got it. But that's actually pretty spot on. Okay. Building a foundation. Describe the foundational skills and knowledge necessary for growth marketing, such as data analysis, experimentation, and customer acquisition. Provide resources for learning and developing these skills. Okay, I can rock with that. Slide 5, networking and professional development. Discuss the importance of building a professional network and growth marketing, and explain how to find and join relevant communities, attend events, and connect with industry leaders. Okay, I got that. Slide 6, getting hands-on experience. Describe how to gain practical experience in growth marketing, such as taking on a side project, interning, or working at a startup. Provide resources for finding opportunities. Slide 7, staying up to date. Explain the importance of staying current with the industry developments and trends. Provide resources for staying informed, such as newsletters, podcasts, and online courses. And then finally, slide 8 is conclusion, where you summarize the main points of the presentation and provide a takeaway for the audience. Total presentation time, 30 minutes. I'm with it. I think this would be a much denser presentation, so it might actually say 8 slides, but some of these concepts, like, networking and professional development, if you got all that on one slide, you're a beast, because you got to memorize pretty much all of your points. But if you break that into 3 slides and you break, building a foundation or identifying your niche in a few slides, I could totally see this getting to 12 to 16 slides easily. So not bad, but those are examples. So the whole core concept of using ChatGPT to make a PowerPoint presentation outline is here. This script works. I actually would use it. This is something that would help me think less about the actual structure. It makes me focus on what I would say, making sure I know what I need to transition off of. And then finally, you get to focus on designing. So you're probably like, all right, how would I design a PowerPoint? You can use PowerPoint, or there's this site called Beautiful.ai. And what you could do is let's go to the skateboard. The Tetris one was good. I actually like the skateboarding one the most, right? So I'll just be like, explore reasons. Like, I would just copy. Well, I'd copy this right here. Why skateboarding can be harder to learn in your 30s. Copy this, come in here, and honestly, I would just paste, right? And then go to your next slide. And then the cool thing about Beautiful.ai is they give you smart slides, right? So you can pick your data. So it says physical limitations, how it can impede progress in skateboarding, such as decreased flexibility, balance, and reaction time. So those are like 3 buckets. So if what we could do is we could pick something like icons with text. We could do bullet points. Bullet points might actually work well here because there's 3 things, right? So then you can pick your template. We could probably put like a skateboarder here. So we would just change this right here, replace the image. Let's type in skate border and see if there's anything here. Okay, perfect. We'll put, this guy looks old. He actually fits. He doesn't look like he might be exactly 30. Hey, it doesn't matter. You can, let's see what this does. Oh, you can zoom in. Oh, wow. You can zoom in and get that guy right. Maybe I feel like, you ever feel like you mess up a slide when you edit it, so I'm just leave it like the first way. And so then we said physical limitations. You just copy this right here, and honestly, we don't actually even need to put a title. They're not saying do that. So what we'll do is we'll put the points. So decrease flexibility, put that there. We'll put balance. Okay. So it's decreased flexibility. We'll just put these points all right here, right there, right there. And I'm going to leave some of this stuff in here, like deflex, I think it was balance, and then decrease reaction time. This is cool. I'm actually pretty much a fan of this so far. It's actually doing a great job of formatting and just giving me the options to, okay, cool. Wow. So if I want to, wow. Okay. Oh, that's sick. Because then, you could duplicate if you wanted. Like, if you wanted to spice this up, you could duplicate this slide, and then you could gray the top one out, and then make the second one green, and then repeat until you go through all three. I'm just going to leave this as ace. Let's move on to the next slide. This is just a concept, right? So, slide 3 is fear of injury. Describe how fear of injury can be more prevalent in older adults and how this can impede progress in skateboarding. So, compare and contrast with young learners who may be willing to take more risk. So we want to do a compare and contrast. Is there a way where we could do like a two-person layout? So I might do something like this, where it's like, you know, what was the slide? Like physical. It would be fear of injury. So we'll copy fear of injury. I think I lost my point, but we'll copy fear of injury. We'll put that right there, and then we'll put like, go back in here, simply put replace image, skateboarder. We'll put the young guy down. Here's the young guy. Put him there. Let's see what that does. This looks pretty official. Then we're gonna put another skateboarder here. We'll put the guy that's grinding in the bowl or just riding. He's riding the bowl. He's not even grinding. We'll put the bowl rider there. And then you can just put like young skaters. And then we could put like you could just put like old skaters, right? And it's pretty simple. It seems like include title and relevant experience. And then I would just like, basically compare and contrast here, right? Like, probably would say, will take risk, afraid of risk. Or you could just be like, and like, that's simple. Like this, that looks good. I mean, obviously you can always add more, but less is more. Lack of time, right? So you get my gist. I'm doing this pretty easily. I'm not gonna finish this whole presentation because it might take me more time than is necessary. But I did do 3 slides out of I think 7 was in this presentation. No, 6. So I did half of them, right? So if I did the last 3, which the last one's a conclusion slide, so it's not even that. But like if I did 2 more slides, I'd be done. And it didn't take me long to do that. I did it while working on this everyday's presentation, and I mean. Or every day's recording, not even presentation. Not my mind's in presentation mode, but like with some design help, this isn't bad for 4 or 5 minutes. It's good. It'll keep people's attention. And then I'm using a website called Beautiful.ai. Like they allow you to just go in here and pick what you want, and then you can spice it up by even getting images off Unsplash, or they got the Venn diagram. So if we wanted to do the old school Venn diagram or the bar chart, they've got all that here, and it's easy, right? Like this is just click and drag. Like you can do a compare and contrast, pie charts, Gantt charts. You can do pretty much anything you will see in a presentation. They've got it. They even got org charts and quotes. Like this is pretty official. So I'm gonna spend some time learning Beautiful.ai, but this is an AI presentation generator maker, and when you combine that with the outline of ChatGPT, you could look like an expert on the slides. And right now I've got it in just bare bones mode, but you can actually go in here and you can play with the themes and change it. You can even import your own PowerPoints in some cases, and that's pretty sick. So all in all, can ChatGPT help me make a PowerPoint presentation? I think it could. And if I were thinking about the future of this industry, I would say that Microsoft is probably going to integrate ChatGPT into PowerPoint so that it can do just what we did here. I mean, if I can do this right now externally, I don't see why I shouldn't be able to put a query into not even ChatGPT. Why can't I put a query right into PowerPoint and it just give me an outline? And then, something like Beautiful.ai, I mean, I feel like PowerPoint can catch up with this. Like that doesn't shock me if they were able to do that. But I think the harder part is the content, because I think most people can follow the instructions once they have the content. It's just they might struggle with design. But even heck, you don't even need Beautiful.ai. You could do the same thing in Canva if you really wanted to. So I think Microsoft might get an edge because if they standardize just like helping people think through their first slides, we would have better presentations because they'll be more thought out than what people put together at the last minute at 2 a.m. or 6 a.m. Yes, I'm that person. But we'll also have a world where we could see maybe less slides being shared, because if some people, they just want to do the bare minimum, they're not going to complain at a 6-slide presentation. They're like, okay, 6 slides, I'm efficient, I'm effective, I get in, I get out, 10 minutes, I'm on time, versus the person that comes in with 25 and they got 10 minutes. That's all I'm going to say on that. I'll catch y'all in the future. Thanks for rocking with me. And yeah, this is pretty cool.